Hi there. I'm Kimberly Edwards with cookingwithkimberly.com, and what I would like to show you in this video is how to make a gnocchi. Now, gnocchi is an Italian pasta. It's the Italian's version of a potato dumpling. It's made with potatoes, okay? So I've made this dough the other night. I actually made gnocchi the other night. But I did save the dough. I didn't use all the dough. It would have taken me too long. But when I make gnocchi, I like to make a bunch of them. And what I do is I freeze them so that they're ready whenever you are. So, okay, here is my dough. Now, my dough, this is kind of a messy job. So be prepared. Just know it's going to be messy. Have your bench flour ready. It's just all-purpose bench flour, and I'm going to use a bunch. This my dough is actually a little bit wet, so I might have to knead it just a little bit so that we can get it to the right consistency before I start showing you how to roll them out and create them. Right now, I'm not showing you how to do the actual dough tonight. I'm just actually showing you how to roll it out and make it into a gnocchi once you have your dough ready. Now, yeah, this is very wet, so I do have to work some flour in. Now, this isn't called kneading. Now, kneading is you bring it towards you, you push it forward with the butts, your heels of your hand, and you turn it. You do the same thing over and over and over. Now, this is rather wet, so I am going to be working a bunch of flour into this, and that's okay. You're going to get to see the whole process. And this is what happens. Sometimes your potatoes are wetter. Sometimes they get waterlogged a little bit if you have boiled them. You just never know. And just sitting, I guess maybe it got a little liquidy, and that's okay. That's good. It can be very messy. As you can see, it's already sticking to me. Again, be prepared for nice and messy project, but it's well worth it. These are beautiful. Now, you don't want to work too much flour in. You want to work just enough flour in so that it's not sticky, like sticking on your hands and all that good stuff, right? It's going to be even more bench flour, and that's okay. All right. This is going to make a ton of gnocchi. We ate comfortably the other night as well, so that's beautiful. Now my dough, it feels very nice. I just kept it in the fridge so that it would be ready for me when I'm ready to do this. And I am. I had some extra time, so I figured I'd prepare these gnocchi. Now, when you make the gnocchi, what you're going to do is you need to make sure that you have a cookie sheet, something of that nature, with flour on it too. Quite a bit of flour, actually, because when you're going to freeze them, you want to make sure that they are completely covered in flour so they don't stick to each other. You'll probably put them in a resealable plastic bag. That's usually the way to go. And they should not stick together. You should allow them to sit in this bench flour, or in this flour on your cookie sheet, ready to go. You fluff them up, make sure they're all individually coated with that flour, okay? I'm just going to bring some more of this flour in. Still really wet. Wow. No problem. You should be ready for this. This could take a while. If the consistency of your dough is not proper, then you're going to get bad results. What happens to this is if it doesn't stick together well enough, not dry enough, what will happen when you boil them when you're ready to boil them like pasta, what will happen is they'll just disintegrate. They'll just fall apart. And that's really bad news for you after you did all this hard work. They look like perfect little dumplings, but they're not going to behave for you. Okay? So, again, I'm just still working it in. And I have another trick too, if it's a little wet still, to just do it while you're rolling them out. Okay? And I think that might be exactly what I do in this case. Now, I may not do it like everyone's Italian grandma, but this is a way that I found that it works, especially if I have a bunch of bench flour. See how messy it is? It's kind of fun though. Okay, so I do it this way because it's more effective and efficient, I found. I'm just going to chop this dough in half. It's quite a bit to work with. I'm going to chop it again in half, so in a quarter, and we're going to deal with a smaller amount. So here it is. Now here's your dough. it's almost where I want it to be. I'm just going to keep rolling in dough. So I am just going to put it into a ball, and you're going to roll it out like how you would roll a pencil on a desk, right? Or how you would do with a rolling pin. So take a little bit of this flour away, and I'm just going to roll it into a tube. We're going to stretch this. You want it to stick together. You don't want it to be dry by any means, and that's why you don't want to dry it out with too much flour either. Hold on, this is not sticking right. It's okay. Here we go again. I'm just going to knead this, get it back to all sticking together. Okay. Here we go, rolling. Now you might have to do some stretching to get it where you need it to be. Sometimes it doesn't roll all the way nice. You're just going to gently, gently roll it out. You want to get it as uniform as possible. Stretch it out. Make sure you've got the bench flour. It's going to all stick to your countertop, and that's not going to work for you, is it? Rolling it out, rolling it out, rolling it out, even more. Stretching it more. You want little bite-sized dumplings. You don't want them to be too big. You don't want it to take too long to cook either. And you certainly don't want it just to be a whole big mouthful of dough. You want to have nice size so that it the sauce can accentuate the flavors in your gnocchi. Okay, so here we are. I'm just stretching it out. I'm not doing it exactly. I'm doing it slightly different. Please don't harass me if it's not how your Grammy does it. That's cool with me. So I'm just chopping little pieces. Gently on your countertop, that's for sure. Just enough to get through. If you need to get your knife a little bit full of flour, that's good. Basically, I just want to show you the technique, okay? So here is one of my pieces. Again, I'm kind of feeling like it's a little bit wet. Actually, it's pretty good right now. So I just rolled it into a ball. You don't really need to do that, but that's just what I do. You take the back of a fork, regular fork. I'll come closer to you. Regular fork, I put it in a little bit of flour. You're going to take your little ball and you're going to push your thumb down. See how dirty my hands are? Push your thumb down into it and roll it across the tines of the fork. And what happens is you get a nice little, hold on, a nice little dumpling that looks like that. You've got tine marks on it. On the back you have a little dip. And what the tine marks do on the dough, it not only does it make it look like it's a cool little thing, it will hold the sauce. It'll hold your sauce, whatever kind of sauce that you have, right? So doing it again, I'll show you again, right on the back of the fork, and I'm just rolling it. Bam! It looks like a little oval-sized dumpling. And then I'm just going to plunk it onto my cookie sheet with the flour, and I'm going to repeat the process for all of these. This is going to take me a little while, and that's okay. It's well worth it. So again, you just repeat the process over and over and over. Put your favorite show on TV and just get to going. These are lovely, lovely for dinner. I would say you could probably get away with maybe 20 of them, 15, 20 for a nice size meal for dinner. Lunch, you could get away with maybe 15 of them. I like it with tomato sauce. I like it with beurre blanc sauce. I like it with a basil butter. Pesto is even nice. And yeah, it's the sky's the limit for what you're gonna put on it. You could just do olive oil or Parmesan. You could put some meat in there, some nice, maybe some andouille sauces, some chorizo or something like that. Sun-dried tomatoes would be nice. Now, this is too big. If it's too big, you feel it's like not a bite-sized piece, you break it off. This is not rocket science, okay guys? This is simple stuff. It's actually kind of fun, it's kind of therapeutic, and you just keep repeating the exact same thing over and over. Then, what you want to do is in each little freezer bag that you've got, try and estimate how many you think your family will eat, and then you've got, it's all ready to go. Like you have one, you grab one bag and you already know how many that serves, right? So when these get cooked, you'll want your sauce ready on the side, and then you're going to boil it. You're going to put it into a rolling boil just like you put any other pasta. Be kind of gentle with it. Shake the flour off of them if there's a whole bunch of excess flour. Shake the flour off of it. You're going to, don't overcrowd the pot. Make sure you use a nice big pot, salted water. Don't overcrowd that pot. If you do, they're going to maybe stick together. They won't cook as well, right? So maybe put half of them in at a time. You're going to want a slotted spoon or a straining spoon to grab them out after. And what happens is when you put them into the boiling water, they're going to sink to the bottom, okay? So you're just going to stir, just like regular pasta, gently, gently, so they don't stick together. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see that they're going to pop up to the top. And when they pop up to the top, allow them to boil maybe another, I don't know, 30 seconds, minute max. Don't let it go way past that. You could get away with 10 seconds to 30 seconds. And you scoop them out, put some olive oil on them, or throw them in directly into the sauce. That's too big too. Directly into the sauce, toss it around a bit, serve it with some Parmesan, some chili flakes, and you're good to go. Now that's gnocchi. I am going to share the recipe with you for the dough as well, but I did want to show you the technique. As you see, it's really easy. I'm hardly even paying attention. You get the knack of it, and you just roll it across the back of it. I'm going to show you one more time before I leave you. Okay. Here you go. Back of this fork. You're going to take that ball of dough that you just rolled. You're going to stick your finger in the back, and you're going to roll it across the tines into a nice little dumpling size, beautiful piece of pasta. That will eventually be pasta. Mark the date on your freezer bag so that you know when you made them. I wouldn't leave them in there too long. Keep them in there a couple months if you wanted to, I guess. And just pop them right into the boiling water, and you already have a meal ready to go. So make sure that you go onto Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. It's at Cooking with Kim E with a capital E. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. And I hope you like my fan page. It's facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. Again, the site is cookingwithkimberly.com. I hope you guys have a marvelous, marvelous evening. Have a wonderful meal. Eat deliciously, okay, guys? Ciao.